concert. Primary schools from across the Clydesdale area in a virtual brass ensemble. High School pupil Kyle
interviews the saxophone teacher and MasterChef finalist
Mrs. Michael.
Hello, Mrs. Michael, how are you?
I'm very good, Kyle. How are you? Good morning.
I'm good. Good morning. I suppose we start with the first question. So my first question was, how long have you been cooking?
I have been cooking for, I think, since my mid-20s, maybe. So, like, mid-20s, I started doing it seriously and getting a little bit obsessed about unusual foods and recipes and combinations of flavors, and you know that's when I kind of got into it really in my mid-20s. So
Yeah.
I started developing it from then. And
have you been
out of control?
have you been doing it longer than saxophone, or saxophone longer than
No. So I mean, I was a late starter for the saxophone as well, but I started playing the saxophone when I was 16.
Oh wow!
So yeah, I was a late starter with the saxophone as well, but it's the same thing. I must have an obsessive personality. and got into both things as dramatically as each other, I think. So.
Oh, and how did you learn to cook? Were you self-taught, or did someone teach you how to cook? Or
yeah, I'm a self-taught cook. And actually, for the MasterChef competition, you aren't allowed to have had any lessons at all.
Oh wow!
That sort of thing. So no, I am a self-taught cook, and I think that you can see that in the dishes that I did for MasterChef, because there was one from India, there was one from here, one from there, you know, and that's because in our house, you know, we really love food and we love trying like new recipes and So I mean, I try new stuff from all over the world all the time. And it all influences each other as well. It's a bit like learning music from all over. It influences everything you play. So.
And with the music, do you think that playing saxophone has helped you with culinary skills and cooking?
Yeah, I do. I think that music and food, like creation, is the same process. I've thought about this a lot because it's a question that people ask me a lot, and you know, the same characteristics you have to be dedicated to learning an instrument is the same kind of creative process that you put into learning new recipes and new skills, because it takes time, you know. Cooking well takes time. You've got to memorize a lot of recipes and pastry and all the rest of it. And it's the same for music. You've got to memorize your scales, and you've got to know, you know, how to play in this style and that style. You've got to know how to cook in this style and that style. You know, it's the creative process is really similar, I think, really similar.
Especially like improvisation, how to make it up on the spot. But did you start off with like the dishes we saw on MasterChef, the fancy dishes, or were you more of a home cook? Yeah.
I was a home cook, and that's the chef taking it just a little bit too far.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh.
I was a home cook. I mean, I have to say though that because I've travelled quite a lot with music, especially before I was an instrumental instructor. I travelled quite a lot and played in different countries. I played in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan and all over the world, France. And, so I had been quite lucky that I had eaten in a lot of good restaurants, and I had also eaten in a lot of Michelin star restaurants.
Mhm.
So already when I was young, I was kind of, wow, look at the detail of that food, and it's incredible. It looks like art,
Yeah, it does.
You've got to start doing home cooking for sure. But then it's so easy to learn, and there's so many resources to learn how to get great at cooking. Same as music, so many resources,
Did you come up with your own recipes, or do you use cookbooks? And
well, I do use cookbooks. There's so many good cookbooks out there. But the main thing that I learned actually at MasterChef was how to come up with my own recipes, because I was a bit worried about that.
Yeah.
And it's really similar to composing, because when you've never composed a tune, and you and I have talked about this, but when you've never composed a tune, it's like a really odd thought to think, how do I start composing a tune? How do I get that music out of thin air, And it's exactly the same for the recipes. I was really scared of that fact, that how can I come up with recipes? That's really just crazy. But the more you do it, same as music, the more you do it, the quicker you get. I wake up in the middle of the night now, and I've thought of a dish, and I wake up and I think, I've got to remember to write that down tomorrow. And so you start learning what goes with what, and what flavors challenge another flavor, and what makes an interesting combination, and you take it from there. I mean, on MasterChef, they talked about my crumble sandwich,
the amazing crumble.
To take you one day, but I mean that dish was the only one that that was an early brief, and that one, as soon as that brief for a great British pudding came in, I was like, I'm going to do a 2-layered crumble, because it seemed obvious to me. There's never enough crumble in a crumble, so another layer in, but that one came quite easily to me. But the rest of them, that is quite intricate, and thinking of vinaigrettes and things to put on dishes, and crunch and texture and colour and all the rest. So I mean, it was quite a thought process. It was a thought process.
It's a whole new mindset to thinking.
Definitely, yeah.
Did you like the pressure of working in the professional kitchen, or do you prefer the pressure of the saxophone performing? Or
well, I kind of thought that it would be really easy for me to go into this television show, because I'd done stuff with cameras and I'd played in front of lots of people. But the reality of it was that it was actually horrendous, and it was totally nerve-wracking. And I hadn't felt that kind of sick feeling of nerves since I'd been a child, and absolutely terrified, but see, after about 15 minutes in that first day in front of John Torode and Greg Wallace, and I felt at home again, the pressure was great, and it was great pressure. The Michelin star restaurants were fast and stressful, and I had a bright red face, and I was roasting, and I was doing stuff I'd never done, and it was fantastic. I loved it.
We're talking about John and Greg. Who was your favourite? Do you have a favourite?
Yes. I mean, they were both fab. They were totally both fab. Greg Wallace is hilarious. He just was singing Scottish songs to me all the time, and he was hilarious. But I really loved John Torode, and actually going into the show, he hadn't been my favourite when I watched it on the television.
Yeah,
it's so calm, and he had such an amount of knowledge about cooking. He was always there, supporting and in the background, just hanging about the kitchen and putting in the odd wee thing to help you, and he was just amazing. And when he took over the kitchen the day that we went to cook for a banquet, he was absolutely in his element. He was brilliant. So it was great. It was really great.
Oh, that's great. Do you have a favourite dish of yours you made, or a favourite contestant's dish, or?
I think it has to be one of my dishes, but
yeah.
I think probably my crumble sandwich was my favourite, like the most kind of memorable dish, maybe for people watching the show. But my own kind of personal favourite was the bone marrow. I made a dish with bone marrow, and just for pure luxury, I put a side of fillet steak. And I just thought it looked so pretty. I had access to a lot of different micro herbs and things that we can't get easily, where we live. So the access to the ingredients was really amazing, and I managed to make it look really pretty. So that was my favourite dish.
That's great. If you could cook in any restaurant in the world, what one would you pick?
Ooh. I think I would really, I've said this from the beginning, that one of my biggest inspirations was a Scottish chef called Tom Kitchen. And he's actually got a number of restaurants in Scotland, one in Edinburgh, one in Gullin. He's got two in Edinburgh actually, but I think I would love to have a shot working in his kitchen and be put under pressure there as well, because he's got a really simple but Michelin star approach to food. It's all about seasonal produce, and his kind of logo is nature to plate, and it's just really tasty, amazing, pure, simple food. So I'd really love to work with him, I think. So.
That's really cool. I come for the last question. It's kind of a crazy one, but do you have a favourite utensil?
It's not a crazy question. Well, I love my knives. I got a new knife set. I've actually got, I used to be this saxophone player that would buy cases and things for instruments. Now I'm like buying cases for my knives, But yeah, I actually do have a favourite utensil. Very clever, Kyle. I bought this kind of spatula fish slice thing. It's like really long. It's like I absolutely love it. I use it for everything. I use it for flipping and everything. It's so easy to control. Yeah, I love my kind of spatula things that I never used before. MasterChef, I used to use spoons and forks, and I have to say our kitchen in the house now looks completely crazy because it's got every gadget known to mankind. So I'm not looking around the kitchen anymore, but
well, thank you so much for talking to me, and well done for getting to the final. It was amazing.
Thank you so much, Kyle.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
From Bigger High School on saxophone.
Dominic, what is a tango?
It's a dance, Ben. Have a great summer from St. Athanasius Primary School. Yay!